Hi, hello everybody. I am Rachel Kiefer and I am an integrative nutritionist, holistic health coach. I lead women health circles and help women fall in love with a healthy life. And I am very excited and very happy to be here today to teach you my class today, which is 3 ways to love your body. And in today's class, we are going to talk about why loving your body is essential to making positive changes. If you want to make positive changes in your health and in your life, it's really essential to do it with body love. And I'm going to share with you 3 amazing life-changing practices that I promise you, if you practice them, are going to make a huge difference in your life and in your health. So before we get started, I wanted to just tell you how to get the most out of this class today. So to get the most out of the class today, I really recommend to not multitask. Don't listen to it while you're cleaning or while you're doing something else, but give it your full attention. Just sit down, give yourself those 20 to 30 minutes long class, and really be here, be present for yourself. I do recommend that you bring a pen and a notebook so you can write yourself some notes about the things that you want to try. And if you don't have it, just run now and grab it real quickly and bring yourself something to drink and really use this time. Like, I don't really time my classes, so I don't know exactly how long they are, but they're all between 20 and 30 minutes. Give yourself this time. This is time for you to nourish yourself. This is time for you to give yourself that important me time to take care of you. I listened to my previous class and I've heard a lot of bird in the background. I have 2 parakeets, so they might join us, and if they'll join us, the more the merrier. So you might hear a lot of birds in the background, and that's fine. So to get started, like, one of the things that I like you to realize is that we are not born hating our bodies. If you look at little baby girls and little toddler girls and little girls, they don't hate their body. They are fascinated with their body. They are delighted with their body. So if a little girl looks in the mirror, she doesn't think, like, my thighs are too lumpy, or my hair is the wrong texture, or my eyes are too close together. She just does not have that thought. She just had like pure delight in her body. And as I'm giving you this class, I'm going to be making small pauses to just look at my notes so I remember to tell you everything. So I remember it personally. I remember being about 4 years old, and this memory is so vivid in my mind. Like, I remember it so clearly. I remember what happened, and I remember how I felt, and I remember what I thought. It's a very, very vivid memory that I have. And I remember being about 4 years old and standing in front of the mirror. And I remember looking at myself, and I remember like bringing my face really close and looking at my nose and my face and looking at my body. And I remember twirling in the mirror and looking at myself from all sides. And I just remember this feeling of liking everything I saw. I was just like in pure delight with who I was and with how I looked and with every part of me, every single part of my body. And I think one of the reasons that I remember it so clearly and so vividly is because I haven't felt that way since. And it's in one way, it's like heartbreaking and sad, but it also, like, it's been like I've seen this gradual of how I lost that delight in my body, and then through the work that I've done, how I'm gradually getting that delight back. So even though I'm not there where I used to be when I was 4 years old, where it was pure, wholehearted delight, I'm getting closer and closer to it. And I'm very happy to see the process that I'm going through. And I want the same process for you. So most women went through a similar process that, like we had this like early delight in who we are, and then we lost it. And we go through it in stages. It's a gradual loss. And we lose that delight in our body and that love of and like of who we are and what we look like, because of many mechanisms. Like there are many mechanisms at work here, and I'm not going to go in length into all of them, but I will just mention them quickly. Part of it is, a lot of industries that make money off of women feeling bad about themselves. If we didn't feel bad, we wouldn't buy all their fixes. And that is, it plays out in many, many industries, and it's in the diet industry and the fashion industry and the cosmetic industry and the food industry, and lots and lots of huge industries that feed off of our feeling bad about ourselves. And one of the things that I really love about having an online business is that I have access to women from all over the world. I have women that I worked with that are, really across the globe. And even though we have, we come from different cultures and different backgrounds, this is something that I see across the board. And that gradual losing of our love of our body and our delight in our body and in our physical selves, I see that in every culture. And that is because those mechanisms, and they're really like part of the mechanisms of women oppression, and they play out in different industries. Those are global mechanisms. So they work, in different ways in some places, but they work all over the world. In all the years that I've worked with women, and I worked with women for over 35 years, I have not yet found a woman that was completely free of that. A few years ago, I worked with a few women who were fashion models and have been my clients. And they look like what in our culture we think of as the ideal. They look like the women in magazines. And they were not free of that material as well. They felt just as bad about their body. They felt just as bad about how they look. They had just as much self-criticism about their looks. So it has nothing, those thoughts and feelings have nothing to do with your body, have nothing to do with how you look, and everything to do with how we were conditioned. As women, we tend to, hey, Valerie, so great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. As women, we tend to, take those messages that we get and internalize them and put them on our bodies. So instead of thinking the messages that I'm getting are lies, we think there's something wrong with my thighs. Instead of thinking what I'm getting is misinformation, we're thinking, I'm just wrong, and I need to fix myself, and I need to fix my physical self. So that's how we intend to interpret those messages. We internalize them, we put it on our body. A discussion that I often have in my groups and with clients is, it seems like it's a party. I want to heal from a health condition, or I want my body to be a different shape, or I want to have more energy. If I loved and accepted my body the way it is, then I wouldn't be motivated to make a change. Not really, not really. And I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why that's not true. One of the reasons that it's not true is, just think about it. If there's someone you love, with all your heart, with all your might, without conditions, there is nothing you wouldn't do for that person. The same thing goes for your body. If you love your body, there's nothing you wouldn't do to take good care of it. And the more you love someone, the more you're willing to do, the more you're willing to, like make an effort. Love inspires you. And when you feel inspired, things get easier. So taking care of your body gets easier. So if you are struggling with trying to do something like, I don't know, like maybe exercise more or maybe eat healthier, when you come from a place of self-love, when you come from a place of loving your body, you feel more inspired, and it stops being this like big struggle, and it becomes easier because you're feeling inspired. The second reason is that you cannot make a positive change with self-criticism. We tried over and over and over again. I tried over and over and over again. It doesn't work. So the thing with self-criticism or with self-hatred or with, dissatisfaction, it will get you in the door. And that's fine. And I want us to be honest about where we are and not pretend and just sit there and chant, I love my body, when you don't feel that you love your body. But be honest about where you are and say, this is okay, that's where I am. But just know that self-criticism might get you started on this journey, but it will not get you far. And you need to change from self-criticism to self-love. I'm just going to, there's someone who is trying to come into the class. Let me just quickly tell her how to do that. Okay. Okay, hopefully she will find us. If not, she will see the replay. Let me take a quick look at my notes. So I don't want you to use the fact that you are not yet in a loving space to criticize yourself, because, that doesn't work either. So don't use, be honest about where you are. It's okay that you're there. But look at those 3 practices that I'm going to teach you soon as a way to shift from self-criticism to love. And one of the processes is to really look at the place where we have self-criticism or we have unloving thoughts about our bodies, and just see them as, this is not, I was not born with that. These are not my thoughts. These are just misinformation that I got. These are some messages that I internalized, and that's not true about who I am, and that's not true about my body. And that will start making the shift when you might not be able to stop thinking the thoughts that you're thinking, but you can make the decision to not believe them and to see them for what they are. And also, when you notice any unkind feeling that you have about yourself, that's the places where you need to heal. And we'll talk more about that in the 3 practices that I share. So love heals. Love heals. And when you come from a place of self-love, your body is going to be on a healing journey. And self-criticism discourages. So when you come from a place of self-criticism, you might start, but you're going to get discouraged very quickly, and the changes that you're trying to make are not going to last. So just want to summarize like why loving yourself is so important and how it works. So when you come from a place of loving your body, you're going to feel like you're worth it. So you're going to be able to make an effort, and you're going to be able, and it's not going to feel as hard. It will get easier. Love inspires you, so when you feel inspired, you're more likely to do things that will make you love yourself even more and take care of yourself even more and take care of your body even more and want the best of health for yourself. And Love heals. When you come in from a place of self-love, you're going to put yourself on a healing journey, and you're going to do the things that are healing for you, not harming to you. And love is the truth. That's the truth. So every time you don't feel that self-love and self-delight, and know that you are believing something that's not true about yourself. So now I'm going to go into those 3 practices. And I promise you that those 3 practices, if you do them, are going to make a huge difference. So they worked for me, they work for my clients, they work. So I really encourage you to wholeheartedly try them. Even if one of them is something that you've heard before or tried half-heartedly before, please approach it as something brand new, with a clean slate, and give it your all and try it. Try it for a week, try it for a month. The more you try it, the more you will feel the healing effects of those practices. So the first practice is mirror work. And there's nothing that brings up how you feel about your body and what your thoughts are about your body like looking at yourself in the mirror. And I recommend full-length mirror, and I recommend to stand in front of the mirror without your clothes on. So look at your body. So you get to look at your body. And this does not have to be a long exercise. You can do it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but I do recommend to do it daily. And the way I recommend to do it is, this is an exercise of observation and looking at what comes up that needs to be healed. So this is not, you're not standing there in front of the mirror trying to change your thoughts or trying to change your feelings, but you're just there to notice them. So you notice them, you look in front of the mirror and you look at yourself top to bottom, and you notice what you're thinking and you notice what you're feeling. And every time you have a thought that is loving and delightful and something that you see that you like, cherish it. Thank that thought. Say, thank you. And every time you have a thought that is not loving, that is self-criticism or self-hatred or shame or anything that's not loving, just look at it. Just be willing to stand there and look at it and notice it and tell yourself quietly, I am willing to change that. That's all you need to do. You don't need to make any huge changes here. This is an exercise in, like a lot of times we just don't notice what we're thinking. You get to stand there and look at yourself and notice where you are. And I want you to remember that there is nothing wrong with your body. There is something wrong with the messages that we got. So look at your body and just let those thoughts come and be willing to do that. And when you do that, after a few days that you do it, you'll see that if you had like intense thoughts of dislike or self-criticism, you will see that they start to soften and you start to make that shift into being in a more loving place. And as that shift happens, you open the door for self-love to come in. The second practice that I recommend is to write a letter to your body. And I recommend to take an hour to do that. So look at your week, find time during the week where you give an hour to yourself and you sit down with, pen and paper and you write your body a letter. So I want you to write a letter from your heart. I'm just going to give you a few guidelines, but feel free to use them or to do your own thing. So the way that you write a letter to your body is that you start the letter with writing, Dear Body. And then you can, if you have memories of a time when you really liked your body, like I have that memory of being 4 years old, start with that. Like start saying like, I remember when, and describe that and describe how you felt and how you were in your body. If you have a lot of negative feelings, you can apologize to your body. You can tell your body that I am sorry that I feel this way, or I'm sorry that I think this way, and then describe how you're feeling and how you're thinking. And I want you to, when you do that, when you write that apology letter, I also want you to remember that it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you have those thoughts, and it's not your fault that you have those feelings. But you get to tell your body, I'm sorry that they got me. I'm sorry that I internalized that. I'm sorry that I have thought I'm unkindly about you all those years. And then you can describe what you appreciate about your body. And it can be just the way that your body functions for you. You know, you can appreciate your eyes for seeing, you can appreciate your legs for walking, and just write your body like a big description of all the things that you appreciate about it. You know, like you can appreciate your digestive system for digesting your food. You know, like your body works for you every day in a million ways. And we get to take some time and appreciate that. And then you can, you know, like if you had any kind of healing story in your past, if you ever recovered from an injury, or if you recovered from a serious illness, or even if you recovered from the flu, then appreciate your body for the healing mechanism that it has. Your body has amazing capacity to heal. And if you and your body becomes allies and friends, I believe that there is nothing that you can't heal from. It's the place where we fight our body and we kind of like become our enemies, and we think that we have to fight our body and shape it into this shape or that shape, and we do it with, you know, like a fight. That's when we disconnect from our body, and that's when healing becomes harder. So become your body's best friend here on this journey. So write that letter. I just gave you those guidelines, but really write from your heart. Write whatever it is, whatever thoughts and feelings you have for your body and the journey that you went through with your body, and just write it a letter from the heart. The third practice that I'm going to share with you is, it might seem difficult to do. It might seem stupid. It might sound silly. You might feel awkward. You might think that you don't want to do it, but please try it. It makes a huge difference. So the third practice is that every time you refer to any part of your body, whether it's by a thought or by words or by writing, and every time you refer to any part of your body, every time you think my hand, every time you think my eye, every time you think my nose, add an endearing description. So for example, instead of thinking my hand, think my lovely hand. Instead of thinking my eyes, think my beautiful eyes. Instead of thinking my stomach, think my amazing stomach. You know, just add that endearing, loving, appreciative description before any thought that you have about any part of your body. And I want to share something with you. I can't do a screen share on Facebook Live, but maybe I'll be able to show you that picture on my phone. And there is a Japanese doctor. His name is Masaru Emoto. I'm hoping that I'm saying it correctly, who did this water experiment. And he experimented with water when people, you know, when you take water and you give water loving thoughts and words, and when you take water and give it negative thoughts and words. And it actually changes the molecular structure of water. So I want to see if you can see that picture. Okay, so that picture is a picture of water when you say, I hate you. And those two pictures are a picture of the water crystals when you say, I love you and thank you. So you can see how, and it's the same water from the same source. You can see how that changes the molecular structure of water. The water crystals become different. And just think of the fact that our body is mostly made of water, and how it affects us when we have loving and kind thoughts towards our body, and how it affects us when we have negative, hateful, criticizing thoughts towards our bodies. It actually changes the molecular structure of your body. It changes your cells. Your cells are listening to you. They're listening to your thoughts. They're listening to your feelings, and they react accordingly. So when you start to pour love into this beautiful body temple that is you, you start to change from the inside and you start to heal. And your body becomes, like a glorious thing. It already is a glorious thing. You just have to realize that it is. So, really want all of us to find again that delight that we had when we were born into our bodies. That little girl in the mirror, your little girl in the mirror, your version of that little girl in the mirror when you were, like young and before all that stuff came in, and when you were completely delighted with who you are and what you looked like. So remember those 3 practices, and I really encourage you to try all 3 of them. The first one is the mirror work. The second one is the letter to your body. And the third one is to add an endearing term every time you talk about any part of your body. And it will seem strange at first, but believe me, like after you do it for a while, it will become natural. So I encourage you to do that. Hi, Maria. I'm glad that you found us. That's great. So good to have you here. So that concludes our class for today. And I invite you to, if you happen to see that later on YouTube, so I invite you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my mailing list. I'm going to leave them. You just go to healthnutgirl.com and you can subscribe to my newsletter. And if you want more information on my women health circles, I am going to put it in the comments so you can go there and find out more information. I am taking a break from my classes for the summer because I'm writing a book, but I'm going to resume my, I'm in my groups, my women health circles for the summer. I'm going to resume them in the fall, but now is the time to sign up for the fall groups because they fill up very quickly. So I'll give you some information about that in the comments. If you have any questions or if you need any help in any way, write me a comment and I will get back to you. And it's been so exciting and so delightful to be here with you. I wish you all tons of body love, and remember that your bodies are amazing and beautiful and magnificent, and take really good care of them from a place of love. I love you all. I'll see you at the next class. Mwah. Bye.